Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with Scrap Squad Sunday. So this is my first Friday sketch actually videoed and to be published on Sunday in, gosh, it seems like a couple months, but it's actually only been about a month and a few days. So I had some encouragement. Since I've been back, I've actually done a fair number of, I want to say maybe shorter than usual videos. And the reason for that is that I was keeping my phone open for word from the hospital, or, I just kind of didn't, I didn't have it in me to do a long kind of detailed process video. But I've actually watched a couple videos, which is something I don't do often enough, and I make that confession to you now. I watched one that had some detail in it that I thought might be interesting to include, and so I've done maybe a little bit less prep work. So I have dry fit. This is the original. I love it. It's got this kind of bold contrasting pattern paper and then a lighter pattern paper that has a white background on a white background, and then some lace at the seam there, and then flower clusters here, here, and here, and in each flower cluster there are some smaller elements, like a couple enamel dots here, and it looks like an enamel dot or flowers here, and a banner there, and a button here, and so forth. So I'm gonna maybe include a few probably sequins. And I'm going to I'm letting myself be influenced again by, excuse me while I go track down the sequins and the colors I want. Okay, I'm letting myself be influenced again, or still, by the vintage Coke ad colors in this month's Kraft Plus mood board. And I had these fussy cut flowers. I had this pattern paper forever. I got it out of a paper pad, and I honestly don't know who designed it. But I've had these in my little packet there for a while, and they have the pretty red and yellow, so I thought I'd kind of reinforce that and add in some of this teal color. This is my strip of photos, and I've been asked a million times about this. This is the original photo. I used an app on my phone called Waterlog, and this filter, I think, is the one known as bold, and this one is vibrant, or the other way around. This one may be vibrant and this one is bold. They're similar, but a little bit different, and I like that this one kind of fuzzies up the trees a little bit differently from how this one does. This is an old picture, probably 2012 or 2013. Katie was, I don't know what, like 10 or 11. Ava was 4 or 5. And they're walking with Grandpa into the Y. When we used to go exercise there, they would go to the kids club there and exercise there. And so obviously Grandpa's wearing his sweater, so this was wintertime, and Ava's wearing her little pink fluffy coat, so this was wintertime, and it just, I don't know, this picture came up in my son's Facebook memories, and it just breaks my heart that this winter, for a whole slew of reasons, they're not able to walk into the Y hand in hand with Grandpa. So I printed these out on my printer, and I managed to get them the same size and frame them. I'm working with my old computer. My old computer actually has the scanner software that has been changed in the newer releases of Mac. So my MacBook doesn't have that version of the scanner software, so I keep the old one up, and it's actually the one that's hardwired to my printer. So I use it for printing, and it's not, the photo software isn't quite as advanced as my MacBook, so it's harder to line them up, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There are guides that pop up when I use my MacBook. So let me, I printed this, and this font is, I have no idea what this font is. I just thought it was cute. Oh, Joint by Pizza Dude is the name of the font. And I like it because it kind of looks like the girls might have printed it at those ages. So I've got that, and I'm probably going to ink the edges. Let's see what I've got here. I've got a okay. Kind of do that just to make it stand out when I put it across the patterned papers there. I'm going to use, instead of that white background pattern paper, I've cut apart a cut file. And it's one that came in the Creative Cuts Club release from sometime last year. And I can't tell you. It's, let me pull these off. I will probably use these as well as cutting apart some of the others of these to do some layering. Okay. And I'll work, well, actually, let me work on the title now. What this is what was left on the sticker sheet when I used the letters for moments, the black letters. So it left this kind of background. It left the clear part and the outline. And so I did this a while ago, and it worked just fine. But it doesn't seem, I may need some tweezers to kind of get this started. Let me start over here since I've already messed with that end. So what it does is it pulls up the outline from around those letters, and I can then put it on a background. I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a white background that has some lines so that I can line it up. And then I'm going to pull the lining of the O and put it where it was. Okay, so that gives me another use of that particular title. I'm going to kind of trim this down, and then I'm going to back it. I want to leave the lines on. Let me cut this. And I'm going to back it with a yellow. And I'm trying to match, I've got these scraps of yellow cardstock. This one I think is too bright. I'm trying to match that yellow flower. That one's probably the closest. It's not perfect, but it's going to be a narrow enough strip that I should be all right. You know, this may not work. That may not be enough. So I may have to go back to this. And that's okay. That will work. Let me get this. This is from a 6x6 paper pad that I used in my first entry in Shannon Allor's 6x6 paper pad class, and I happen to have this on my desk, and I wanted lined paper, so I used it. So now, let me get a nice thin border. And I know that my trimmer trims a little closer to this side than it looks, than the wire looks. I've gotten used to it after all these years, so I knew to make what appeared to be the border look wider for it to come out the right length. And I've read other people's notes saying you've had to get used to the trimmer in that same way, but you still prefer that trimmer to anything else you've used, and that's me. That's my, okay, so that's gonna be my title kind of going along there, and I'll make sure that whatever flower cluster I use has the yellow kind of far away from that, so if it's not right up, you can't really tell that it's not the same yellow. Okay, I've cut this little piece for the this background part, and I'll tell you what, let's just not, I've rounded the edges is what I've done there. So let me do this now. I'm gonna glue this down. I hate using, or missing out on that star paper on the other side of this, but I love this side too. This I'm going to put down with some wet glue, and it really doesn't matter. I love this cut file, but never ever had any intention of backing it. That's kind of beyond my tolerance level, my patience level, my skill level, all of those things. So I'm gonna kind of just lay that there. And the reason I did it this way is because I have 2 or 3 of the circles with these little extensions that stick out, and I kind of wanted to, I didn't want to cover those with the lace or obscure those with the lace. Okay, so now I've got this roll of lace from my December Mind the Scrap kit. And I love it. I have a lot of lace from back in the early days, my early days of scrapbooking, where I did I bought a book that just fascinated me called, I don't know, I forget what the name of the book is, but it was about kind of shabby chic scrapbooking, and it used lots of fabric and fibers and laces. So I went to the scrap bin at Joann's, which is a craft store that concentrates a lot on sewing. And so you can see that I printed that. I inadvertently had it on landscape instead of portrait, and I intended to print it portrait. So luckily I used double-sided photo paper for just such things as this. I did not have to waste that, that piece of paper. I did waste the ink, so yes, there was some waste involved in the making of this layout. Okay, let me, well, oh, forgot my, here's my strip, and I'm debating whether to put that on foam. I think I'll just let the photo be on foam. And I'll do this, line up that. I'll put this out, I'll put this here. Let's see if that works. There. Okay, and Moments seems like a good title there. I want it to end in the same place as this. I want those to line up. And I kind of messed up in that I think this would have looked better this way. But I don't think I can pull that up successfully without pulling up some paper. So it stays like it is, and I will put foam behind it. Do that, kind of curl it up. I'm gonna put this crappa and the girls down here, and I'll put that on some foam as well. I actually thought I would use red to go around the photo cluster, and I'm thinking more that I kind of need some red in there. So let me see if it fits. Yes, it does. Okay, I don't need a big frame. And with the foam, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to cut the way I want it to. But if I elect not to get too picky about it, which kind of is an election I have to make every time I do a layout, I can't afford to be, see, the cutter blade didn't go as far down as I would want it to. Okay, but I think this red is going to make all the difference. Don't you agree? The only problem I have now is that it covers up too much of this. So I'm going to move it back over this way, and maybe I'll have some, a cluster of sequins or something right there. Okay, so that's gonna work for me. Let me get that lined up properly against those little diamonds. There we go. Okay, here's this. I should have put the glue on earlier so it could dry, but it should work. And then we'll get to the fun part, putting the flowers on. I'm going to look up a date on that photo. When I capture things from my son's Facebook memories, I don't have the original date, or I don't, when I save the photo, it loses the original date in the metadata. And I have to go back to his Facebook page, and in some cases it's you know, if you know my son, you know he posts a lot. And instead of doing this down here, I'm gonna do it here, and maybe kind of lift it up there on some foam. So there's a lot to go through. And let's see, did I want it this way? Maybe. Yeah, I like that. So I want the foam right here. But I'll go get the exact date of that. And I will write it on here. Let's see. I don't want to cover up all of the lace. Okay, that works for me. I've got this one. Let's see. We've got one. Oh, this is perfect because it's just the red part. And so there's no yellow to clash. Okay, and then this one can go there. And it doesn't matter to me if that goes a little bit high or if this kind of shows. Let me get a bit of foam back there. And of course, you know, I'm doing my foam in the center, and I'm letting the ends curl because that's one of the things I love about fussy cutting floral patterns is having the leaf sprigs. And okay, so that's going to have this sticking up above the top, and that's okay because it'll stick out of the page protector, so I'm good with that. Okay, so now I've got this that kind of could go back there to add some dimension to that. I'm going to kind of cut that in case I want to use it. And this will go directly down, and I'm actually going to layer it under that lace. I don't want as much of the flower showing as it is. I wanted mostly the leaf sprig there. Okay, and what might help that stay up is if I layer a tiny piece of foam underneath it. There, that kind of props it up. Okay, and then let's see if there's something small enough that would look nice. I think I'm going to leave this one as it is. Let me see. How about if I did, what I'd want is this part. So why don't I just cut that off? I always fussy cut the larger part of the image, knowing, you know, full well that I'm probably going to cut it up. Okay, I'm going to actually cut this off and kind of layer that. That. Let's see. That, or do I want that over that, maybe? you know what I'm gonna do? I'm cutting it down, then I'll use some of these pieces individually. So I'll do that there. I'll do this here. And then I'm gonna add in these little periwinkle flowers down there. Okay, so that gives me a nice balance there, and I like that. So I think I'm done, other than a few small sprinklings of sequins. And where did I put my tweezers? Okay, I'm gonna go with these kind of flat red, which matches that red a lot better than the shiny ones do. The shiny ones have a maroon, or look, is that a word, marooner? Okay, there. And I think I might like another bit down here. And hopefully someday I can take a repeat of this picture. The physical therapist said that they were able to get John standing up yesterday, which has been very difficult because his blood pressure is so low from the dialysis that he gets dizzy when you stand him up, and they'd always have to put him back down. And then I think maybe something up here in the on the actual Kraft background. So, and he was so proud that he was able to stay up, not on his own, but stay upright long enough to take 4 steps. So that is a huge start, and the more significant thing, I think, is that he's beginning to ask, what the hell happened to me? Why can't I, is it a nerve thing? And nobody knows why he can't walk, why he completely lost his motor function. They thought when he came out of the encephalopathy that he'd have that back, and he doesn't. So it's something he's going to have to work on. And I consider his anger and his incredulity to be a very good sign, because it means he'll get mad enough to work at it. So here's my version. It's again, not an exact replica, but I like it. And one of the things I like the best is the black and white diagonal stripe. And who doesn't like a good black and white diagonal stripe? I have no idea what paper that is. It just came from my stash. This is Bella Boulevard, just add color. And I have no idea where the flowers came from. You all will probably tell me. The cut file came from Creative Cuts Club, Christina Sorge. Just check Creative with a K, Kreative, Cuts with a C, Cuts Club. And it's if you don't have a cutting machine, or even if you do, and I do, it's always fun to get her kits with all of the things and see all of the videos with all of the ideas, and it's a cool group of people. I think that might have been a Maggie Holmes thing. The striped paper, not that it's particularly significant, but it is a the B-side of a 6x6 pad from Echo Park, a summertime pad. So I think that's all the attributions, and I have no idea what brand of craft this is, but I accidentally bought it some time back, and it's thick and sturdy and wonderful, and I wish I had more. I think I have 2 or 3 sheets left, and I'll have to go hunting again. So thank you so much for watching. This one was a lot of fun. I love the photo, and it gives me hope. So let me pull it up for some detail. You can kind of see the that it's a background from a clear sticker sheet, but you know, I think it's cool. And this font is kind of similar. If I did it all in capital letters, it would kind of look like that. So I think that works. So again, thanks for watching. I think I'm rambling at this point. Bye.